Welcome back to the Raising Rock podcast. I am Elise and I am your host. This is episode 2 and we have something a little bit different planned that we will not do with future episodes, but we split up episode 2 into 4 short episodes. Each one is between 10 and 15 minutes. And we wanted to really dive deep into each value that ROCK stands for: respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. And we wanted to give each one its moment and really dive into each one. So you will find episode 2 in 4 parts. We are so excited that you are here on this journey with us. We think that there's really valuable life lessons and takeaways in each of our core values. So please tune into all 4 and enjoy what we have to share. So with that, on to the episode. Hi, Mom.
Hi, sweetheart.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
I know we told our audience when we filmed episode 1 that she would not regularly be on the podcast, but here we are on our second episode, and you are already back.
I'm back. Yay.
She's back. So we felt that it was super important. We filmed that first episode, really got into who I am as the host, and wanted to make sure that the audience who is tuning in, which I'm assuming might be 2 or 3 people that will actually end up hearing this.
Where is the faith?
I'm treating it as if thousands of people are going to suddenly tune in. But in reality, it'll probably be like Nana and Papa and maybe you.
Oh, come on. Have a little faith. Little faith.
But it occurred to us, and with some advice of people who have walked this path and had podcasts, that not only is that first episode super important to really understand who I am as the host, but to really dive into the brand and the heart of the brand and our values. And so that is what we are going to do. We are going to do episode 2 over 4 episodes. So it's going to be episode 2, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Part 1 is going to be on R, which is respect. So Raising Rock is ROCK. R is respect, O is for obedience, C is for courage, K is for kindness. And so we are going to do a deep dive into each one of those. Each episode should be about 10 to 15 minutes if I don't babble for too long. And you'll be able to find those and really kind of immerse yourself into why ROCK is so important to us. I have with us, these have not seen the light of day yet. But if you are listening, you are seeing probably our first product that will end up hitting the marketplace. Yep. We might have some merch before.
Our first and our favorite.
Our first and our favorite tool. These are flashcards that you can work through with your children. The reason that we created these is we really believe that Raising Rock is going to be a movement to help moms raise children with character and virtue. But it's not just enough to talk about wanting to raise children with character and virtue. There has to be tools. We have to equip moms with how to do that. And selfishly, I need these. I created these out of a place of need. I talked about in our first episode, flipping through the Bible, trying to find where God talks about gossip or slander or stirring up strife. And I wanted to have something that was the Word of God, but in a quickly accessible tool to share with my kids. So each of these cards has a front and has a back. The front is a memory verse first, and then a description, what does it mean? And then on the back is conversation starters for your kids, which is let's talk about it. And these are just amazing tools to have conversation with your children about respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. The reason we have them here is we have all of the definitions, or our Raising Rock definitions for respect, obedience, courage, and kindness on these cards. So we are going to be referencing this throughout the episode. We might pull out a couple cards just for fun and model what using these cards is going to look like. But then we're just going to really just have a fun conversation and share some personal stories and scripture about what these values mean to us. So without further ado, drum roll, we will start with respect.
Okay.
So the definition, do you want to read the definition or want me to?
You go ahead and then I will talk about it.
So the Raising Rock definition of respect is to show consideration and honor, regard for others. Reread these cards. How many? 100 times?
No, maybe not.
Maybe not 100.
I have
25,
probably.
30 times. Like we have read and reread these things as a group over and over.
Oh, well.
I don't think that's it. To show respect and honor, period, regard for others.
Okay, so I want to talk about that a little bit because I was the one that kind of hashed through these definitions and really wanted something that was just not a cursory view of this. And I want to start with to show consideration. I feel like in our society, we've gone into this cancel culture where if we don't
everywhere.
It's everywhere. And our kids see it. Our kids are aware of it. And I think our kids do that. It's like, if you make me mad, away with you.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about respect, to show consideration, I think that piece came from sort of that cancel culture movement. Honor, I see two things of honor. I see honor pertaining to sort of those who are due honor by positional honor. That would be elders, pastors, school teachers,
service members,
military, people who deserve our honor just because of who they are. But then we have to teach our children that everyone is due honor because everyone is uniquely created by God. And that's one of the things that keeps recurring is everyone is a creation of God, and just their worth as his child means they are worthy of honor. And then the last one is regard for others. That ties into putting others first. It ties into so many things, but we respect people. In order to respect somebody, you have to have regard for them. You have to
find them valuable, even if you don't like them or don't.
Right. So there's so much under respect, and this is going to evolve and grow and take shape over time. But there's in that deck, there's 5 cards for each component of rock that delve into what the scriptures say about that. And then so much that will come after that. But that was the working definition that we came up with at the beginning of putting this all together. And
why do you think it's so important that moms really hammer in on respect, and not respect in the sense of I am your parent, you will respect me? That's not the type of respect we're talking about. Why is it so important for kids to respect?
Well, I think we left out the most obvious. We left out the most obvious. We must train our children to have a fundamental respect for God.
Correct.
And it starts with that. If you respect God, if you respect God's word, then you will have regard for all these things that fall under it. And I haven't even thought about this, so it's coming out without much thought, which is a little scary.
That's the whole point of podcasting, is you are just sharing what's on your heart.
I guess I would wonder about somebody who lives life in a very disrespectful fashion. I think I'd have to wonder about their faith. If you're a professing Christian, little things I think about. I don't know where I heard this, but somebody that said every restaurant they go to, every hotel room, everywhere they go, they try to leave it better than when they came. That's respect. Like when we go to a restaurant, do we clean up after ourselves? Do we have respect for that kid making minimum wage sitting there? Do we have enough respect for them to say, I want to make this better than when you came? I want to make your life better. I want to enhance your day.
Yeah.
So I just think that being a believer, being a Christian, being a follower of Jesus, being a decent human being, we have to respect, and there, respect of our land, respect of nature, respect. It goes so many components, but I just feel like it's essential value.
Yeah.
And it starts with the heart. It's got to be, we've got to train our children that it comes from the heart. We don't just strong arm them into compliance. We train them, we teach them, we mold their hearts.
Yeah. I didn't even tell you this, but you'll really like this story that I'm going to share. Okay. I haven't shared this with anyone yet, but Noah, my cousin, who probably will never be on the podcast. I don't know. Maybe there's a space for Noah to be on the podcast. But Noah, my cousin, he's so sweet. He works so hard to stay involved in the kid's life, and he works up in Carlsbad sometimes, so he'll come over if he's been at work up north, and he'll throw a ball around with the kids. And anyways, he was over on Wednesday night. We went to dinner, and we just went to Chipotle, and we were sitting outside, and Luke saw 2 police officers come in the restaurant. And we've not done a lot right in parenting, but we've really tried to establish respect for people that serve. If Luke sees someone in a military uniform, at first we had to make him go say thank you for your service, but now he just willingly will see someone and he'll go up and say thank you for your service. And so he sees these two policemen walk up and he goes, I think we should buy them dinner. Aww. And at first Scott and I were like, no, bud, like we were almost done with dinner. We were trying to clean up. We were out on the patio, so we were kind of far away from where the policemen were standing and checking out. And we both were like, oh no, not today. Like, no. And just immediately both of us had the conviction of, if our kid wants to show respect for a service member and offer to buy them dinner, there is no better use of our money and our time. So we were like, okay. And so he's like, will you come with me? And so I took the money and we walked in, and the guy was just getting ready to pay. He was just pulling out his wallet, and Luke goes up to him and he goes, I want to buy you dinner. And the policeman was like, no, you don't have to. And so I was like, no, he really wants to buy you dinner. This was his idea. And so he paid for both of their meals, and it was just the sweetest. So we get a lot wrong, and you're going to hear in future episodes how much I'm getting wrong in parenting.
Well, dear little Luke and Ben, also, I will say to Elise and Scott, they are very generous people, and they love to bless people.
That Scott and I
that you and Scott love to bless people, and the boys have picked up on that. And so,
with other people's money, not with their own money.
Exactly. So I was out with Luke the other day, and I a while ago, and he wanted to pay for something. I feel like it was like $3 or $4, something like that, and I gave him a 20. And he came back, and I'm like, oh, do you have the change? He's like, no, I said keep the change. So I'm like, okay, all right, well, good. He goes, well, I just wanted to say thank you, so I just said keep the change. So anyway, you have to be a little bit careful. They'll be very generous with your money. But the point is, respect is, again, I think a lot of it stems from the cancel culture. I think respect used to be a lot more common.
It was common. Everything was Mr. Mrs.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. No, thank you. No, sir. Yes, sir. And that is a thing of
it's just gone.
The past.
So I'm going to even go on another limb. Here's what happens when I speak before I don't think. Everything starts with something. And like a lot of our theme is growing seeds, and you start
planting seeds, waiting for the harvest.
And the same thing happens with the degradation and the demise of our society. And I think things start small. They start with, don't make your children say Mr. and Mrs. Like they can
be on a first name basis.
Right. It starts there. It starts with, let's take the Bibles out of the schools. It starts with all of these movements years ago that undermine the foundation of really core values. And was everything perfect? No. But when our children were taught that you call people Mr. and Mrs., you open the door, you do these things, we had a different world.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you bring that up. So at church on Sunday, Pastor Dave's message, he went through, I think it was this past Sunday. I can link it in the episode notes. But he went through data since we took prayer out of schools in the 60s.
Yep.
What has happened to our society.
Yep.
And the decline of SAT scores, the increase of sex outside of marriage. I mean, he went through like a couple different, just alarming facts. I mean, it was literally like SAT scores were here. You took prayer out of schools, and they've been here ever since. Sex before marriage was here. You took prayer out of schools. It's up here. I mean, it was a dramatic shift.
And I think specifically to respect some of those little things, like teaching kids to be on a first name basis with people they should respect and honor.
Yeah.
Little things like that. And I'm not saying that means we go back and tell our children, they have to start saying Mr. and Mrs. to everybody, but they're those little things. It's in the little things. It's in the in-betweens.
Yep.
It's teaching our children to put the shopping cart away when we go to the grocery store so somebody doesn't have to do that. It's those little things that really, really count. So
yeah, no, absolutely. We were at a Padre game not too long ago, and we were in line to go to the bathroom, and I had the boys with me. And there was just a sweet elderly woman that was cleaning all the bathrooms. And I thought to myself, who is appreciating
Yep.
her? I mean, she had to have been in her 70s.
I know.
Like, and so my heart was breaking that she had to still work, but that not she was cleaning bathrooms at a Padre game, and I'm like, who is showing this woman?
So did you?
Oh, we did. I had the boys go and say thank
See?
you, and I said thank you. I said thank you going into the stall and then leaving the stall because she was kind of cleaning up after people as they went. But it's like it's a lost. I think we've just grown accustomed to people being around to do things for us that we've lost the beauty of showing respect for people who are serving us in any capacity. In any capacity,
You know, this brings me back, and we have to have a resurgence of my cards.
Oh, the Bible verse
yes,
cards?
so a while ago on this note, and I did this for a long time and I ran out and I just didn't go back to doing it. But I just had felt that I should make these, I had them little printed. These were years ago. And it was, may the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Well, we are going back to those cards.
I
just
know,
in a different capacity.
A different capacity. But those cards, they were about the size of a gift card. And I just got $5 little gift cards to go with it, to depend on the scenario, and kind of gooey stuck them on the back. So like under that scenario, I would just have a few in my purse, and maybe it'd be like a Starbucks card for $5 or something. And they weren't large. But when I would see people like that, I had such a desire to express love to them and gratitude and kindness, and to have a tangible way to say something. And sometimes if you just say, God bless you, and there's nothing tangible, it's kind of in one ear. So I would give people these cards, and it just said,
then
Lord
say,
bless
God
you.
bless you.
Well, it would say, the card said,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
But it had a $5 little gift card at the back of it. It was something so tangible to just say, God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do. So we got to get a resurgence of the cards now that the boys are older.
Scott and I were talking about those cards the other day, and we were talking about how with inflation they'll need to be $10.
I know.
We were saying they were
Can't
like a
afford it.
McDonald's. They were a McDonald's card
can't for
because we had
$5.
like McDonald's cards for $5, and we were like, can you even get a meal at McDonald's for $5? Like, I think it would have to be 10.
Yeah. Well, then we'll go broke. But hey. And it was great for homeless people because, you know, sometimes you want to engage with homeless people. You don't want to necessarily give them money, but you want to engage. You want to show, you know, you want to show love to them. And I totally gone off a tangent. Can I go off a quick tangent?
Please.
Okay. Speaking of respect and things. So I was driving through Mission Valley. Anybody that lives in San Diego near the major mall a few Saturdays ago. And there was a bunch of people in the corners, and they had these flags, and it was, and I don't remember what they were, but they were, you know, Jesus loves you, Jesus died for you. And they were well done flags, and they were
Signs? Like flags or like posters?
like big flags and posters, and they were all over this intersection, probably 20, 30 people out. And they were a neat looking group of people. I mean, there were little kids, there were grandmas and grandpas, and they just, normally I don't respond as favorably to that kind of thing, but it actually brought tears because I felt like in our society, public declarations of our position has become the way we express our voice, rightly or wrongly. You know, we say it on the street corner, and things that I oppose are being spoken from the street corner, but is the street corner proclaiming Jesus Christ? And I was so, my heart was so warm that these people were taking a public stand. They were like publicly on the highways and the byways taking a stand for Jesus. So as I'm sitting at this intersection, I'm watching them, I'm so taken in by what they're doing, and I'm crying, I'm so moved. I realized outside my window was a gentleman standing there with his sign asking for money. And unless I feel the Lord prompts me to respond to a situation like that, I don't normally. I may smile, I may wave, I may extend a kind greeting, but I don't necessarily in those situations give money. And it struck me as I was driving away, I almost thought, what if somebody was filming me and saw me just walk by the guy and wave and honk my horn, because it was like honk if you love Jesus.
Yeah.
Wave and honk the horn at all these people proclaiming Jesus. And I literally
Ignored the
walked
need.
by this man.
Yeah.
Whether he had a legitimate need, whatever his deal was, I don't know. But I literally drove by him. And I was so struck, I actually went back. like I wanted to go back, and I didn't have any gift cards, but I still had some of the paper cards. Lord bless you and keep you. And I wanted to go back and just give him like $10 in that card and just say, God bless you, and make a stand for righteousness in the midst of that. And maybe those people had already done that too, but I just thought we encounter so many things. Oh, I got back and they were gone. And I felt so bad. He was gone. All of them were gone. And I was like, oh, all right, Lord, I leave it with you. But it just conviction of like, it was such a mixed thing because I so appreciated what these people were doing. I was so
But then there was a person with need right there.
Well, and they may have already been over there.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have already
taken care of him.
Yeah,
you don't know.
I'm talking about me. That need was me. That need was me. He was standing right outside my door, and I was so taken with what was going on around me that as I drove by, I realized nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yeah. Well, I spent the last year studying Luke with our Bible study. Not Luke, my son. Luke, the book of the Bible. I also spend time studying Luke, trying to figure him out. But I'm talking about the book of the Bible, Luke. And Jesus, his whole ministry, and like the point of Luke is really to know Jesus as man. His whole ministry, he was never too busy to stop.
Right.
And meet people in their need.
Yep.
And he would have crowds waiting for him, and he would stop to minister to the one. I think about the woman who was bleeding, and he's on his way. Isn't he on his way to heal the centurion's son? I think that's what it was. I might be getting the details of this incorrect, but he was on his way to something super important, like somebody needed healing. And he stopped when that woman touched him, and he felt his power go out, and he stopped to meet her need. And it's like, if we can just model our life after Jesus and not be too busy for interruptions, not be so enamored with what the world is doing that we don't see that need that's right in front of us, whether it's the need of our children or the need of our husband. And it doesn't mean that those things aren't good. What they were doing, that public display was incredible. Like, good for them for being
absolutely
so
brave. This is no negative.
That was a very positive thing.
This was me.
Yeah. Yep. But Jesus would have stopped for that man. And he would have eventually gotten to that crowd, but he would have stopped for that man.
And it doesn't mean that we engage with money.
Yeah.
But it does mean, in fact, I'm not saying that at all, but it does mean that we engage with kindness, with respect, with decency, with a hello, with a how are you. It does mean that we engage with a respectful, compassionate heart. Because again, let's tie it back. Let's go back to respect. Those people we encounter, we had no intention of going this direction, by the way. So maybe somebody needs to hear this. Those people that we encounter that we don't want to be troubled stopping with, or we think maybe we don't trust their agenda, or we think if we help them, our money's not going to go to goodies. Whatever our thing is, those people, whoever they are, whoever we encounter in our days, I don't care who they are created by God. They are a child of God. They are deserving of our respect. How that respect looks can be very different, but they are deserving of our respect as a creation of God.
Yep.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And with that, we shall conclude the episode on respect. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.